I study physics too. I love science. You know, I like the lab stuff, but what I really love is the beauty of nature. I love to see the nature and things like that, and I just can't stand the pollution, the plastic that we put in our world. You can go in the middle of a Whole Foods, look all the way around, and see no food at all. You just see packaging and boxes and cans and things, which is why I almost never shop there. I do find myself there sometimes. I was there with a friend, and we're in the bulk food section. You know where you have the nuts in the bag and you weigh it yourself. And we're there, and I see a Whole Foods guy come up, and he starts throwing it all away. I'm like, why are you throwing this stuff away? And he goes, we're throwing away the stuff in the trays, the stuff that falls out, we're not allowed to, it's a law, we're not allowed to sell that stuff. And I'm thinking, at least compost it. But I'm also thinking, people can eat that. So fast forward a little bit, I'm in Union Square waiting for a friend, I'm kind of hungry, I look over at Whole Foods and I think, free nuts. So I go in, and sure enough, I go down to the bulk food section, I go down, there's a whole bunch of free nuts there. I'm thinking to myself, they can't sell this, I'm not stealing it. In fact, since it's not going to landfill, I'm actually cleaning the world up a little bit. So I grab my free nuts, I'm happy. And you know where this goes. Now I know where every Whole Foods near me is. There's one in Chelsea, there's one in Union Square. And don't think I didn't stop on the way over here, at the one in Houston Street to pick up my nuts on the way over here. Please don't tell them I'm doing this. But lest you think science is just about, the best thing about it is that it gets you free nuts. There's really good news too. If you look at the news today, the front page is all about how, I guess the world is moving, you'd say, in a populist direction. A lot of people are worried about that. You gotta look past the front page. You gotta look at like page 8 where the science stuff is. Especially with the mental health stuff. Things like PTSD, things like addiction and depression. Because how are we treating these things? Today we're treating addictions with ketamine. We're treating depression with LSD and with mushrooms. We're treating PTSD with MDMA. The FDA today is looking like a rave from the 90s. And I think back then in the 90s, people used to say to them, you guys are doing a big experiment. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, well, science won. Because all those people who are partying there, I think they're the ones in the FDA saying it worked for us then, it's going to work for us now. And it's getting really mainstream. For example, you guys all know Michael Pollan? He writes really mainstream stuff, #1 best-selling stuff. And his new book is on psychedelic stuff. So my mom really likes him. Talk about mainstream. So she met my dad in India before the Beatles. Lived all the way through the 60s, and only now is she saying to me, after Michael Pollan stuff, she's saying, I'm looking for a guide for something like this. Under Trump, this is science. This is really mainstream stuff. But I think where the stuff is really happening is with cannabis. And it's coming from the science area. Now, I don't know about you, but when I heard medicinal, this is where it's coming from the science, I thought, this isn't really going to get anywhere. Next thing you know, decriminalized. I'm thinking, this isn't really going to get anywhere. Next thing you know, recreational. How mainstream does it get when, at one point, Seattle and Denver were in the Super Bowl together, the two stoner teams? And I think the latest thing that I heard was that I think California is actually passing a referendum to go beyond recreational to mandatory. And so I'm telling a friend about this, and he says, you know, Chuck Schumer in New York is trying to make things on a federal level decriminalized. I'm thinking, wow. But what he actually said was, he's the highest person trying to propose something like this. It's kind of funny, because like highest. Did he mean highest in the government? Or did he mean highest? I thought, I was kind of confused in what he meant. I thought, confusion, isn't that what happens when you take this stuff? I thought, I wonder, is it possible that New York has already passed it to make it mandatory? That would explain the confusion. And that would also explain the munchies would be driving me to want all those free nuts. Thank you.